Hi guys, quick update here for the general markets. It's been a while on YouTube, so we've developed a mini masterclass here, more cost-effective solution for those who want to check it out. If you want to join the group, you know what to do. And if you want to pay via crypto for any of the services or the courses, then just message me through the Facebook page. Everything is there, and that's that. Now, and yes, the masterclass goes over the four areas which we teach, which is basically fibs, price action, volume, auction market theory. You need to master all four to master the stock market. Okay, no good just doing Elliott wave all day long without volume. Okay, still have no respect for anyone who doesn't have volume on their chart. I mean, volume's everything. Volume precedes price. Just drawing horizontal lines, although that is powerful in the short term, you're not able to project longer term targets. So you need to know all four. And of course, auction market theory, which is something I never discuss on YouTube because it's very, very valuable information. Understand how the market really works from an auction perspective, because that is basically what it is. We discuss poor highs and poor lows, incomplete auctions, those who have touched upon perhaps market profile and volume profile, they'll be able to understand a lot of this. Okay, but having fancy footprint charts and delta prints, that's not really what we cover. We cover a more easier way to basically analyze the charts using the candlestick. So we take the knowledge from market and volume profile from the 1970s basically, and we make it very, very simple and easy to understand. You have to understand how this market really operates from an auction perspective. Anyway, so yes, the TQs, we're still looking at 233 there. So, and that was a call that we made ages ago. So we called for a parabolic move. We're still getting it. I don't think there's a short to be had here. This market can go to 20,000. If it continues past 20,000, we've got 23,635. That will be the top. If the Nasdaq gets above 23,635, well, then I've seen it all. That's my limit to the upside. So yes, if you want to short the Nasdaq, I would be waiting until the Nasdaq starts with a 2. And currently we're nowhere near a top. So you're looking at March 22 before you even think about calling a top. Property, real estate, US, UK, probably Q3 23 for a top there, which is more sort of in line with the business cycle. Anyway, the Qs, once again, massively extended wave here, 1-2-1-2s all over the place, easily going to get to 442. I've got a top here, potentially 500. So we've got basically 4 targets along the way. Right now we're nowhere near a top in terms of trying to nail this stock market top, because we're just not there. S&P, once again, I mean, we've got 5,000 here, 5,500. It's an extended wave 5, and I am not counting this as a wave 2. As in, I'm not counting the entire move from '08 as a wave 2. Otherwise, S&P is going to get to 15,000 and it's going to end in 2030. That's not going to happen. We're still counting this as a wave 5, albeit extended wave 5, relative to this wave 1 from '08 to the Greek crisis in 10. Usually one of the waves get extended. In this case, 2 of the waves get extended. And obviously on the Dow Jones, well, this hasn't started with a 4. So I'm not too sure who's shorting a parabolic move. That's the first slide in the masterclass. Never short a parabolic move. I don't think there's anything to be had here to the short side. And looking at sentiment, well, it appears a lot of people have missed that move and now they're going to FOMO in. Now, obviously a cause for concern is the dollar. There's clearly one of 2 interpretations regarding this ABC. There are 5 waves into here which you can count. You can count that as a 1-2-1-2, by the way. If that's an ABC, fine. We're going to make a new low, 88. Then we're going to rally, forming a larger ABC. If it's truncated here, then potentially there is expectation for the dollar to rise. Sooner or later, the dollar is going to rise. So we have to just be careful with that. There's a lot of fake outs and shakeouts here, but if you can count 5 waves, you always have to be very concerned. There are clearly 5 waves between here and here. So this is what makes a market. People who are long and people who are short. There's 5 waves here. Is that an ABC into here then, potentially? Then a 1-2 down? Or is that an 5 into here, then an A, B, C, 2, and now it's a 1, 2. So I would be watching the dollar very carefully. The dollar doesn't like Bitcoin. And obviously cable, well, I mean, cable is just setting up for a slanted and, head and shoulders type of thing going on here. So cable is going to get to there, and then is it then going to fall? I mean, even gold. I mean, gold's been a dying asset for some time. Even gold, you could argue is going to collapse here pretty soon. So, I mean, I don't really look at this, but leading diagonal into a 1, 2, 1, 2, is gold about to collapse? So obviously that kind of proves we're going into a deflationary sort of episode here. Well, eventually we are, much like much like Japan did in the 1980s. So this is exactly what we think is going to happen in the US. I mean, it's taken them 25 years. They still have not got to their high. So we're basically here somewhere. This is, pretty much what we're doing in the US. So I'd say, well, we're not here anymore. So 87 to 89. So how long did that take then? Let's just do a bit of fractal analysis here, just off the cuff. So let's just do a quick time. I've not actually done this before. So 735 days. So interestingly, what is that for the S&P? Let's just quickly do this right now. Let me just go back. I forgot what I said a minute ago. Was it 700? Yeah, so 735. Right, so 735. Let's just say we copy the exact fractal in terms of time. So what does that get you in terms of the stock market top? Well, probably, that's about 2 years, is it not? Just under 2 years. So where does that get you? 735 or 65. I forget what I said. You can rewind the video if you like. Yeah, March 22. So I wouldn't be calling a crash until at least March 2022. I don't think the stock market crashes this calendar year. I just can't see it happening. And yeah, that's what's in store, we think. So yeah, that kind of makes sense with the fundamentals and everything else. So the monopoly money's over. So something like this may happen. A bit of a nasty correction there, and that's what you would expect from a grand super cycle correction. So dollar, we're watching. Cable doesn't look the best. Euro will obviously move inverse to the dollar. Now, these Chinese stocks have been quite interesting and quite frustrating at the same time. Obviously Alibaba is the one that everyone is watching. There's a bit of a mess here, but there's a good chance that it may have bottomed. Did actually catch this low. It's rather corrective and it's forming a lot of gaps up and down, which is frustrating. But if it breaks out of it above 178, to me it goes to the VPOC at 211. It's as simple as that. It's going to do this, do this, do this, and then do this. So Alibaba, we're watching here. It could be an ABC, but the volume doesn't suggest a heavy sell-off, because notice there's lower sell volume now on the retracements relative to here, which means that the shares are getting absorbed by the professional interest, basically, right? Why is the sell volume going down? That must be absorption going on there. We're looking at a move towards 211. Baidu to the VPOC 188. So we called all of these lows when they occurred, basically, which is how you make money. Didi, I mean, that's the interesting one. 13% owned by Uber. Suppose if your stop is down here, yeah, you might get a move towards 11.26, but the volatility on Didi is, pretty high. KWeb, we're looking at a move to the value 60, probably 65 there, and EEM is going to move inverse, to the dollar, isn't it? So, and in Hong Kong, well, it's doing well. So, price action, price action, price action. The more times you hit a level, the weaker it gets. So a lot of fake outs and shakeouts here. They're trapping a lot of people. Usually that's the cause, ready for a big move. I do like how it is developing here on the weekly chart. It's staying nice and tight with nice low volume. Is it going to break out? That gets you towards 206. The way to convert the Hong Kong price into the US ADR is to do 206 divided by the current exchange price, which you can see here, 7.77, and you multiply that by the ratio of ADR, which is a 212. So a 206 gets you a 212 in the US, which basically lines up with everything that we've just said right there. So that is the situation in China and the situation with these Chinese stocks. Cautiously bullish, but obviously they are Chinese stocks. You have to be a little bit mindful and careful. But yes, Qs, there's nowhere near a top here. Nowhere near a top. That can still go higher. And the equal weighted Qs, well, I've not even done targets on here because I don't really look at these, but eyeballing it, probably I'd say 112, 120 up there. Now, Bitcoin, so spiders, no one cares. So Bitcoin, basically we like MDX. So MDX is one of these tokens. Luna, I mean, we called Luna ages ago, so we call that to go to 37.8. So it's basically got there. Yeah, so that was a good call. To me, the move in Luna, I mean, I suppose it's still pumping here, which is great. But hey, you got to take profit at some time, haven't you? So that's probably in a wave 5 now. If that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, probably a wave 4 into a 5. To me, the market cap was always going to get to around here. So to me, the move is done. You're aiming for 100, you're at 90. You're not going to risk, 90 to make 10. So I would be trailing up stops here. Maybe you'll get to a 18 billion market cap, but it's pretty much in the zone there. So Luna, to me, for all intents and purposes, is done. I think FTT is done as well. That's pretty much hit our target. Litecoin, I just don't like at all. And MDX, we're looking at something interesting on MDX, because you could say, okay, all of that is a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. So was all of this a wave 2 shakeout? If it is, this is going to go much, much higher. Surely it is, right? So if all of that was a 1 into here, that was an ABC shakeout. Now it's setting up for a very, very big move. And MDX is lagging, and it's don't know much about the fundamentals, as you know. I mean, I've got a target here of 3.8, but honestly, this could get to 6 potentially, if it is a 1, 2 into here, right? So if this was a wave 2 shakeout, so MDX is one to watch. I think it could do something. Also, there's some nice development here against the BTC going into a weekly block. There's your target. Find support, and then we could be off to the races. Even challenge these stops above here. So MDX is going to be a sleeper there, one to watch out for. And well, I mean, what can you say about Bitcoin? You can't take your eyes off this for 1 second. I just don't like what it's doing. I mean, I've been saying it for a while. I don't think it makes a new high this year. Quite frankly, I'm surprised it's got even to 50k. I think there's I don't want to say zero, but there's a less than, I'd say 20% probability or less that this makes a new high this year. More than likely, we're just going to stay range bound. There is that large, annoying triangle count, which we have on the futures here. Something like this. I just can't see this making a new high. If this was any other asset like Apple or Google, I can't see it making a new high. My hunch tells me that's not going to happen. It's going to remain range bound somewhere between, I don't know, 35k and let's say 48k. So it's going to remain range bound. The 200, it's now below the 200. We're going to get a golden cross, but a golden cross doesn't, mean an immediate pump to the moon. Obviously, we still have this alternate count that was a wave 4. Is that really a 1? Is that really a 1 going into here, an ABC2? Really? I don't think so. This is more about the altcoins than it is about Bitcoin. Bitcoin has generated 0 alpha since, well, for the last 6 months. You've basically missed everything else. So I don't think there's much to really say or do on Bitcoin. ETC, I don't like that. That's gone into a 50, so I'm not too sure why people are bullish on that. And once again, we are seeing outperformance here. So it was all about Bitcoin here to here, but the last couple of years, or at least the last year, Ethereum has outperformed Bitcoin. That's what this means. It's the, numerator, Ethereum, divided by the denominator, Bitcoin. Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin. That could still get to 10% off a Bitcoin. Potentially even higher, by the way. If you read that as a leading diagonal 1 into a 2 into a 1, 2, 3. So still this outperformance of Ethereum relative to Bitcoin is going to continue, I think. To me, this is a bit of a mess. we have a bullish interpretation that still gets you higher. Honestly, I think there might be other altcoins as of this time which will outperform Bitcoin. I mean, even on MDX, you can see it's it's outperforming, isn't it? So this is MDX relative to Bitcoin. So this is something that we do regularly. We combine different coins together, right? What would you rather be owning right now, Ethereum or MDX? Now, it's not about converting all Ethereum into Bitcoin, but you have to understand the relative performance of these coins, because there's over 10,000 of them. How in the heck can we keep track of all of them? We have to compare them to each other. Like if you compare, I don't know, MDX to Matic right now, well, obviously Matic was doing really well, as MDX was going down, but right now it's not even close. I mean, I don't even want to look at this chart. It's going to be such an obvious chart in terms of being bullish. You can see that very, very clearly. So you have to be able to compare these different coins, and the way you do that is exactly as I've done. You just divide one into the other, literally just like this. I mean, it's not that difficult. You just combine, I don't know, DOT to me is done as well. So once again, you can have a look through the old video. We call that low. Fine. So what if it goes higher? That's not the point. It's the move was you lose money on the entry, not on the exit. So that was the first target. It's going to go into this support level. There's a nice little demand supply block here. And, well, what more do you want from DOT? Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why people always hold, and they don't understand that risk and reward is dynamic. It's not static. It changes. Even Salgado over here, the famous right back, well, he's done. He's right back in the changing room now. So, it's at 189. What more do you want from Salgado? How much more can it pump? It's not the point if it goes higher. That's really missing the point. Stops should be trailed up here. So you can maybe trail behind the last weekly low. You can trail behind the last 3-day low. And you can just get out of the entire position. I think it's done. Or at least there are limited gains now to be had. So, risk and reward is dynamic. It's not static. It's one of the most important concepts in stock market investing and trading. Right, finally, this chart, which has never really made the most amount of sense. Nothing has made sense since Bitcoin broke 42k. It's been very hard to decipher what's going on. We've got two interpretations. One is the Bitcoin dominance does in fact make a new low here, takes out this low of 39 and takes out this low of 36. And then it reverses powerfully to the upside, which suggests that the altcoin dominance may very well make a new high. Certainly, it appears that it wants to. So any new high here in the altcoin dominance, then I would be generally careful holding altcoins. There's a bit more room to go here. So maybe all of this was a huge ABC going back 4 years ago. All that was an A, all that was a B, all that was a C. So something just to watch there. That would be something like that. I'm not saying it's going to collapse all the way to 26. All I'm saying is after it makes a new high, takes out this high, watch out for some patterns that can get formed up there and be very, very careful. So potentially altcoin dominance still is on track here to make a new high. If you read that as a 1, 2, 3, 4, all of this up until the full moon in August was a wave 4. Now we're going to make a new high to make a wave 5. So anyway, I think we can wrap it up there. Those are some of the coins. We do cover a lot more in the group. And GBTC, I mean, yeah, there's just various interpretations. I just don't like Bitcoin. I think there's wasted opportunity cost being in Bitcoin only. I just don't think it's the right coin to be in right now. And, well, we've got interpretations here on the total market cap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're running that as a truncation, by the way. A, B, C, truncation into here. It's the only way it makes sense. If you run a new impulse from here, we're still on track for this to get into this zone. Once the total 2 market cap gets into this zone, we have to be careful and expect a severe correction, because it has been 1.5 years in this cycle. And total recall 1, as in the total market cap, well, we're about to make a new high there. Is that a 1, 2, 3, 4? Are we now in the wave 5 of the wave 5? Can we get to a 3.5, maybe a $4 trillion market cap? I've got a time zone here of 29th of November. Could happen. But I don't think it's just Bitcoin driving that, if at all. It's some of these other altcoins which are making some nice moves. Now, Link is, I mean, that's just, it's not doing a lot, is it? So, yeah, there's a lot of opportunity cost here with these altcoins being in the wrong coin at the wrong time. I don't think this goes to new highs. I think that's an ABC wedge. That's probably going to end up falling back down again. DeFi prep futures, you could probably get a new high above this level, like 18.4. And the alt perp futures, well, you know, it's trying its hardest, isn't it? It's trying its best to make a new high here. Any new high on the alt perp futures, you have to then expect a much larger correction. Once again, we've been in this rally now since March 2020, okay? So we are getting pretty extended here in terms of time. How much longer can this cycle really go on for? It's been going on for now for nearly 546 days. Surely before the end of the year, all of these targets, or most of them, are going to get hit. Then we have to expect some kind of correction. But I just don't see Bitcoin making a new high this year. I refuse to believe a mathematical model is going to always forecast this, because the mathematical model, based on what I've checked, said 5,000 back here, and we call it a 20k move. So markets always overshoot. Sure, we still have the bullish count there in case it does happen, but I just don't like what I'm seeing. I mean, that kind of sell-off really kind of worries you. And is that just a bear flag? Going to do this, just going to be sideways in a much, much more complicated correction. Could very well be that large triangle count. Sure, it may not crash to 30,000 right now, but there's nothing to suggest in the next month it's going to rally all the way to 65k. Opportunity cost. Anyway, we're on 22 minutes, so we can probably wrap it up there. If you want to join the group, you know what to do. If you want to join the various masterclasses on the group, and the mini one, you can have a look at that for a more cost-effective solution. You get, you don't get everything, but you get the key points, I suppose. Anyway, I'll wrap it up there, and I'll catch you guys soon.